There's something inside you right now that's controlling your life, and you don't even know it. It decides when you move, when you stop, and when you silently sabotage the very goals you swear you want. You think you're making choices. But what if the choices are being made for you? You'll see what I mean before this video ends. Think about it. Some of the brightest, most self-aware people in the world can't seem to follow through. They know what needs to be done. Wake up early, stay focused, stop scrolling, eat clean, finish that one thing they keep avoiding. And yet, they remain trapped in the same loops, not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because something deeper inside them keeps whispering, "Not today." That whisper comes from a hidden realm. Carl Jung called the unconscious, a vast inner landscape filled with forgotten memories, buried fears, and emotions you've learned to silence. And here's the unsettling truth. Your lack of discipline might not be failure at all. It might be communication. Jung believed that what you call resistance is often your shadow trying to speak, the unseen part of you that carries your pain, your rage, your desires, the pieces you rejected to survive. When you ignore it, it fights back. That's why you procrastinate. That's why you start and stop. It's not weakness. It's a message. What if the battle isn't between discipline and laziness, but between the self you show the world and the one you've locked away? Jung called that public face the persona and the hidden one the shadow. Until those two meet, you'll keep reliving the same patterns because the unconscious always wins. Stay with me, because in a few minutes, you'll see how this hidden part shapes every promise you break to yourself, and how real discipline begins the moment you stop fighting it. But before we go deeper, take 1 second, subscribe to SYC Soul, tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next, and share this with someone who keeps wondering why they can't move forward. So why do we keep repeating the same patterns, even when we understand them? Why do we promise ourselves change, only to find the same resistance waiting the next morning? Carl Jung believed it's because most of what drives us is not conscious choice. It's unconscious memory. You see, the unconscious isn't a storage box for forgotten thoughts. It's alive. It remembers every emotion you ever buried, every wound you refused to face, every story you told yourself to stay safe. And when those emotions remain unseen, they start making your decisions for you. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That's not just philosophy, that's reality. You say you'll wake up early and run tomorrow, but the moment the alarm rings, something inside resists. Maybe it's a memory of failure. Maybe it's the fear of trying again. Or maybe, deep down, your body remembers that discipline once came with punishment, not freedom. The truth is, your resistance has roots. It started somewhere, maybe long before you could even name it. A parent's criticism, a teacher's disapproval, the moment you learned it's safer to hold back than to risk being wrong. Each of those experiences planted seeds, and now those seeds speak through hesitation, distraction, and self-sabotage. Jung called these emotional clusters complexes, little pockets of energy that take over when triggered. That's why sometimes you feel like two people at war within one mind. One wants to grow. The other wants to protect you from ever feeling small again. If you've ever told yourself, "I'm lazy, I can't focus, or I always mess things up," pause for a second. What if those aren't flaws, but echoes? Echoes of something inside that still believes it's not safe to change. Are you connecting with this? If you are, tell me in the comments. Where in the world are you watching from right now? I'd love to know how these ideas are landing with you, because we're only getting started. In a moment, we'll go even deeper into the place where Jung said true transformation begins. It's not in fighting the shadow, it's in listening to it. And once you understand that, discipline stops being a battle and starts becoming a conversation. When you stop fighting the shadow and start listening to it, something strange happens. The resistance that once felt like a wall begins to reveal a message. You start realizing that every part of you, even the ones you hated, was only trying to protect you. Jung said that the shadow isn't darkness itself. It's the light you refuse to see. Imagine this. Every time you tried to force yourself into discipline, a hidden part of you tightened its grip. Not because it wanted you to fail, but because it feared what might happen if you succeeded. Success demands visibility. Change demands uncertainty. And to the wounded self within you, both feel dangerous. This is why real discipline doesn't begin with control. It begins with compassion. When you look at your procrastination, not as weakness, but as communication, you begin to understand your own psychology. You stop punishing yourself and start negotiating with yourself. That's how the shadow starts to soften. Jung believed that true transformation comes when the conscious and unconscious finally meet. It's like two halves of a broken mirror finding each other again. Only then can you see your full reflection. Until that moment, you're operating with fragments, chasing perfection while ignoring the pieces that make you whole. You've probably felt it, that strange peace when you finally accept something about yourself you used to deny. That's not giving up. That's integration. That's power. Because once you stop running from your inner world, it stops chasing you. But most people never reach that point. They keep treating discipline like a battlefield, pushing, forcing, grinding, without realizing they're fighting themselves. Jung warned that what we resist, we strengthen. So if you keep resisting your fear, it grows. If you keep denying your exhaustion, it deepens. But if you face them, name them, listen to them, they lose control over you. That's the paradox of growth. The parts you once feared become your greatest allies. And the moment you embrace that truth, your actions stop coming from guilt and start coming from alignment. We're about to go even further, into the place where your hidden self turns from enemy to guide. Stay with me till the end, because this is where Jung's most powerful insight unfolds. When you finally turn toward your shadow instead of away from it, you begin to see what Jung really meant by transformation. It's not about becoming something new. It's about remembering what you truly are. The parts of you that once caused chaos now become guides. They show you what you feared to feel, what you refused to express, and what you secretly long to become. Jung said, "The gold is in the dark," meaning the very thing you've been avoiding, that fear, that doubt, that pain, is where your hidden strength lives. Discipline born from denial eventually breaks, but discipline born from understanding becomes unshakable, because now it's not driven by pressure, it's powered by purpose. When you integrate your shadow, you don't need to fight your mind to stay consistent. You want to. You're no longer running on guilt or shame. You're being pulled by clarity. The energy you once used to hide is now available to create. That's the moment your habits stop being cages and start becoming expressions of who you really are. And here's where it becomes mystical. The unconscious doesn't just hold darkness, it holds potential. Every suppressed emotion is a fragment of your original power. Every fear is a doorway. Jung believed that by walking through those doorways, you awaken something ancient within, the part of you that's connected to all life, to every human who's ever faced themselves in the dark. So when you show up consistently, when you act with awareness, when you move even through resistance, you're not forcing yourself anymore. You're aligning with yourself. And that's what real discipline is. Self-alignment, not self-attack. Look closely. Maybe your shadow isn't trying to stop you. Maybe it's trying to show you the truth about why you began this journey in the first place. If these ideas are resonating with you, if something inside you feels seen for the first time, that's not coincidence. That's connection. Carl Jung spent his life helping people find this bridge within themselves. And if this touched something deep in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to SYC Soul. Tap the bell so you never miss what's coming next. And share this with someone who needs to hear this message today. because your darkness isn't your end. It's the doorway to your awakening.